Hello, hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Sound check, sound check. Thumbs up if you can. Awesome. All right, we're going to get started in just a minute. I hope you have pen and paper handy. For those just joining in, I'm going to be sharing something in the chat box that you all should have gotten an email of as well. And give me 1 second here. All right. What I'm putting in the chat box is the student participant guide. This is your full guide to all of Ignite. We'll talk about that in just a minute. I'm going to introduce myself in just a minute. We're just letting people in from the waiting room. While we are letting people in, we have people on here from all over the place, and referral business is wonderful. Agent Connections is fantastic. So I'd love to start out by all of you just going to the bottom of Zoom. You'll see a chat box. By the way, for those who have cameras on, thank you so much. For those who don't have cameras on, if you are in a place you're able to turn your Zoom camera on, please do so. Teaching a class, I'm just gonna be honest, from 6 to 8 o'clock at night after a full day, I love seeing smiley faces as opposed to just looking at myself. So if you are in a place and you turn, by the way, you can totally be in your PJs. I had Zooms where people had like their kids around you, just keep yourself on mute. It's evening time, all right? Let's get friendly here. So in the green, put your name. Well, we see your name already. Put where you are from. I see Pennsylvania. Love that. Oh, actually, I know where that is. Hey, Juan. So please put in the chat box where you are, where you're located. We got Leesburg, Virginia. My favorite wineries are there, by the way. We got Frederick, Maryland. We got Pennsylvania. We got Long Island, New York. Hello, New York. Let's see. We got Georgia, another PA, Maryland, PA, another part of Virginia. Oh my God, this is exciting. I'm excited right now. All right. So it is 6:01. Let's go ahead and kick this off. For those just joining, by the way, I'm going to repeat myself a few times, so hope you're all cool with that. My name is Alana Huber-Katz. I am located in Towson, Maryland. Shameless plug right now. I run a team. I love Maryland referrals. So if you know somebody looking in Maryland, there are some amazing Maryland people on this call that I work with. Thank you. Shameless plug. Okay. I am the Director of Coaching Business Development at the Keller Williams Legacy office in Towson, Maryland. I started as an agent in 2015. So I was in your seat, taking the first ever launch of Ignite, version 1.0. We're now Ignite version like 3.0 because it revamps every few years based on the market. So it changes per the market. And I sat in the seat going, what in the world did I get myself into? I'm in real estate. What now? Anybody feel that way? Okay, good. I'm not alone. Really excited to have you as part of this. What we're going to be going through tonight is what to expect through Ignite, what to prepare yourself for, and then some best practices you can actually start implementing now, tonight, tomorrow, for your real estate business. So I started as an agent in 2015. Actually, I started as what's called an inside sales associate. For those who don't know, an inside sales associate is a lead gen machine. Okay, so for those of you who don't know what lead generation is, it means connecting with people. That's all lead generation means, is connecting with people. So I smiled and dialed on the phone for 6 hours a day, 5 days a week, to dial 300 to 500 phone numbers. Okay, so for those of you who are like, I can't even do an hour and talk to 5, Ignite's going to help with that, hopefully. Okay. Transition, moved into being an agent focused on listings. Didn't say no to buyers, just like listings. Then moved into 2017 being a coach both locally and nationwide. I'm also a MAPS coach with Keller Williams, as well as a Keller Williams University national trainer. Really excited. I love to kick off Ignite for the first night. That's kind of my favorite. So for those just joining, please, if you haven't already, in the chat box, go ahead and throw where you are located. Okay, now certain times on Zoom, some Zoom etiquette things, because we have, I don't even know how many people now. We're up to 50 some. There's 140 some people who registered for this class. Now, not everybody can attend the first night. People have different nights they're attending, et cetera, et cetera. So we'll see what we get up to in the next 15 minutes or so. Usually what happens is the first 10 minutes are people going, oh my God, it's 6 o'clock already. Where's that Zoom link? That's usually what happens. Throughout Ignite, especially tonight, I will say, some Zoom etiquette. Number one, if you can have your cameras on, fantastic. I love seeing all these smiling faces. Number two, any questions you have, you can either one, put it in the chat box. I will be looking at the chat box throughout Ignite. You can also, at the very bottom of your Zoom, you're going to see a button that says reactions. And the reactions button has what's called a raising hand. Okay, so if you raise your hand, you're actually going to pop up my screen and I'll be able to call on you for you to come off mute. So I want you all to stay on mute until we do either certain activities where I ask for volunteers, ask for people to talk, and or throughout this, any questions you have, please make sure you raise your hand, because if you're thinking it and you have the question, I guarantee you it's going to help somebody else on here who doesn't want to ask the question. Okay. So please raise your hand, please ask the question or put in the chat box. So I'm going to kick this off with a little activity to start it, and then I'm going to share my screen and we're going to dive into the material. So my question I'm going to ask everybody is, and by the way, you can raise your hand or put it in the chat box for your answers. And that is, why are you here and attending Ignite? What are you hoping to get out of Ignite? Now I will define Ignite in just a minute. What are you hoping to get out of this? Again, raise your hand or throw it in the chat box. All right, so I want to learn real estate inside and out. Love that, Erica. A business plan map. Ooh, we're going to talk about that a little bit tonight. Something new. New agent looking for as much information as possible. Guidance. Soak up as much info as I can. I'm reading these as fast as they like scroll through here. Let's see. Want to learn how to put a deal together. Who wants a deal? Who wants clients? If your hand is not raised, you're in the wrong industry. All right. To refresh my skills. Oh, I love that. Reignite my business. Motivation, generate more clients. Clients. I'm seeing a lot of that here. Learn it all. Yep, learn all I can. This is great. Okay, that's exactly what Ignite is. Ignite is both the foundational as well as the back to basics that we need to be successful in real estate. So throughout the Ignite classes, first of all, every single night, you're going to have a different instructor. You're welcome. You're not stuck with me. I used to teach all 14. It's a lot. Every single night is a different instructor, which is why we have people on here from all across the nation, which is so much fun. If somebody from your market center signed up to teach, it gained you access. So thank them. Each instructor is bringing different experience, different feel. Okay, so from each person, each night, you're going to learn little nuggets about them, right? And what worked and what didn't work. Each session of Ignite is a different topic related to real estate. Okay, so it is everything you've ever wanted to learn or relearn or refresh on that your real estate classes never taught you, because all real estate school does is teach you how to pass a test. Doesn't teach you how to do anything actually in real estate to be successful. Super fun. So congratulations, you passed. Now let's have some fun. So the classes you're going to be going through, you're going to go through topics like finding more. How do you find clients? How do you find business? Who wants to find business? Okay. So, okay. Awesome. You're going to learn topics like how to work with buyers, how to win the buyer, how to help the buyer, how to move the buyer through the process. Who wants some buyers? By the way, if you didn't raise your hand, no judgment. I stopped working with buyers a long time ago. I refer them out now. Again, I still love buyers. I just don't have time for buyers. You're going to learn all about listings. how to get listings, why listings are so important in our business to grow with listings, right? You're going to learn negotiation skills, closing tactics, contract to close. When you get it under contract, what do you do? Like, that's awesome. Great. But that does not mean it gets to the settlement table. Okay. As a coach, I've worked with now 500 plus agents throughout the few years. And I will tell you, it is sad when a deal falls through, and all of you will have it happen. I always say when a deal falls through, welcome to real estate officially. Okay. It's probably a mean thing to say, but I kind of say it because it will happen. If it doesn't happen, it means you're not having enough closings. That's actually what that means. So if you're having enough closings, something's going to fall apart. All right. And we just work with it and we absorb those emotions and move on and find a new person. All right. I see 2 hands raised. Brooke, go ahead. Unless you're raising your hand because
I'm sorry, that was an accident.
Oh, no problem. We're practicing reaction. I love that. Love that. No problem. Well, if you have questions, go ahead and raise your hand. All right. So I'm going to go ahead, share my screen right now, and we're going to dive right into the material. We are together tonight for 2 hours. Yes, 8 o'clock at night. All right. So strap in. It's going to be fun. We're going to go through a bunch of things. Oh my God, I see so many familiar faces on here and it just warms my heart. Can I just say that? As we go through this, it is a lot of material in a short amount of time. Traditionally, Ignite is a 4-hour session. I don't know about you, but I do not want to be here till midnight. So we've condensed it to 2 hours. Over the past 2 years, we've condensed it down to 2 hours to give you the meat of the information. Okay, so you're going to see me as I go through some slides. You're going to see me skip a few slides. That's because I'm going to, they're in your participant guideline or guidebook. You got your actual manual for this class, which I did put in the chat box, and you got emailed. And don't worry, you'll be getting emails every week reminding you of Ignite. So you will see me skip some slides to focus on, again, the meat that's going to help you in your business. Now, the biggest thing about Ignite is those agents. Okay, so right now we're at 75 people on here and growing every second. It's funny because like those keeps popping up. By the way, my fellow partner in crime and coach and amazing person, Kirsten Sitnick, is on here. And she's like, do you want me to help you like let people in? And I was like, please, oh my God, that'd be amazing. She will be teaching an upcoming class. So thank you. So with 75 people on here, I'm going to give you a little stat. Now, some people tell me they don't want me to share this, but I'm a very honest, transparent person. So I like to share things. Those agents who go through Ignite all sessions and miss only 2, so what we call they graduate. Okay, missing 2, you still graduate. So you graduate Ignite. And you actually do the activities lined up because each night gives you an activity to do that week to learn, right, and grow. And the agents who go through, do the activities, and graduate, each one of them tend to end Ignite with at least 1 or 2 new clients, meaning that within the next, what do we have, 5 weeks together, I believe. If you go through Ignite, you really plug in, you do the activities, you practice what's shared to practice, right? You go to whoever your coach is at your market center or your help at your market center and you ask questions. You should be walking away within the next 5 weeks with a client, if not more. Okay, so those who are already in real estate and been in real estate for a while, you too will just increase your client activity. So if you're already having 2 or 3 appointments a week, you'll go up to 4 or 5 in a week. Those who are just new in the business, like, I don't even have 1, you'll find the 1. You will notice that whatever number is on Ignite tonight is going to fluctuate throughout. And you will notice that during the last week of Ignite, it usually drops by about 80%. So I just saw some facial reactions. I know. And we'll talk about that in just a few slides. So we're going to go through, we're going to talk about becoming a real estate expert, lead generation, lead follow-up, right? And transactions. Here's the thing. This right here is your job. Our job in real estate, there's a saying, is real estate simple, not easy. It's simple because there's literally a book written on it. It's called The Millionaire Real Estate Agent. At Keller Williams, we call it the Red Book. Okay. And what the Red Book walks you through is a blueprint, a how-to guide on how to grow a successful business in real estate. It's a how-to guide. It's not a novel. So it's simple because people have already laid the path and the groundwork for what works and what doesn't work. It's not easy because of two reasons. One, it's work. I'm going to burst some bubbles right now. Okay. It is not HGTV. For those of you who are like, real estate, I love HGTV. I'm so excited. It's going to be so easy. Nope. Real estate is work. All right. Now it's enjoyable work. It's rewarding work. It is my favorite thing at times. Not always. Okay. Not always. You get that one buyer, that one seller. Whoo. But it's work. Now, the faster you build it and the stronger foundation you build with your lead generation and lead follow-up, those are your two key things, the easier it gets. All right. So let's talk a little bit about, as you can see, I'm just passing through. So this is kind of what I was saying, right? Anyone can do it, not everyone will. So I want to open this up for a question right now. By the way, the first night of Ignite is a lot of mindset. A lot of mindset stuff. We will talk about money in a little bit, but it's a lot of mindset. So why is it anyone can, but not everyone will? Meaning every single one of you on here. Ooh, we're almost at 80. That's exciting. Are we going to break 100 tonight? So every single one of you on here showed up, meaning you are committed to your success. Now I'm going to say something, and I apologize if it doesn't sit well with you, but I wear my heart on the sleeve and share numbers because numbers tell a story. Some people might not like it, and I'm going to apologize in advance. Anyone can do it, not everyone will. Meaning there's 79 amazing agents on the Zoom, and you're amazing because you showed up, meaning you're committing to your success. Not all 79 will continue on through Ignite or even real estate. By the way, that's not a bad thing, right? But why is that? Why do you think that is? Let me go to the chat box here. You have to be willing to put yourself in uncomfortable situations. Get comfortable with the uncomfortable. Absolutely. Absolutely. We're going to talk about that just a little bit because guess what? At 7 o'clock, by the way, for those of you not in Eastern Standard Time, sorry, at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, we will be doing a little activity together just for a few minutes. That's it. It's not a long time. It's only going to be for a few minutes. We're going to do it together. That's going to get you a little uncomfortable. Because in real estate, we do have to rip off the Band-Aid sometimes to start the process of learning and growing. Commitment to accountability. Oh my God. As a coach, you're speaking my language there. Okay. Accountability. Absolutely. Self-accountability and also finding partners to help you hold you accountable or a coach. Running a real estate business is expensive. So It can be. Now, as one thing I always share with agents is to start up, yeah, you got your different dues and real estate dues and all that stuff, but to actually build a business, you want to lead with revenue. If you don't have the money, don't spend the money. There's a lot of ways to do real estate for free these days with who we know and social media, and we'll get into that in a few slides. Lack of prioritization, planning, time management. Yep, time management, organization are one of the toughest things to master in real estate, especially if we are in real estate and also have another job, which many of us do. Many of us do. When I first started in real estate, I also had a regular Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. Right. And the balancing act was not easy. Right. So if you don't have a calendar, one thing you're going to learn from any class you take with me is you will never leave the class without homework. All right. Got to use my degree in education somehow. So the first homework assignment all of you have, and you have 24 hours to do it. And tomorrow night, I know who's teaching, and I'm going to ask them to ask you if you did this. If you do not have a calendar, now I don't care if it's a Google Voice calendar, I don't care if you go out tomorrow and go to Target or Staples or wherever you like and buy one of those pretty calendars, okay? Your first homework assignment is to choose a calendar you are going to use. You cannot, there's no hesitation in this, you cannot be successful in real estate without a calendar. It is absolutely impossible. Now, I guarantee you out of, let's see, how many do we have now? What do we have on here? Where's my participants button? There it is. Okay, we're almost at 80. Some of you are probably sitting there going, haha, I'm going to challenge her. I can do it. Yeah, good luck, because I got into real estate and that was me. I sat in a class and someone said, you need a calendar. And I said, haha, no, I don't. I'll prove you wrong. And I failed miserably in the very beginning. Okay, my first start of real estate, in my first 30 days, I updated my resume, started applying to 9 to 5 jobs to have a boss again, and a different boss again because I was quitting my job, and thought, this isn't for me. It wasn't until I got organized with a calendar, because if it's not in your calendar, it doesn't exist, that success started happening. That and a few other things. All right. So what's your first assignment? Wow, you all saw my, you're all like looking at everything on my screen now. Yes, I'm traveling to Japan. I'm a mother, by the way. I'm married. I'm in Maryland. I have a daughter. She is 25, almost 26, which causes gray hairs, and I just got them dyed last week, and I'm very excited about that. She lives in Japan. She teaches English in Japan. So y'all just saw my screen because I'm looking at flights to go visit her. So I figured I'd share what that was. All right. Oops. So let me get back to sharing this. There we go. So I want to talk a little bit about what's called the 6 personal perspectives. Okay. Now, these are things that you'll see in every Ignite class, as well as a lot of the trainings at your Market Center. Okay. The 6 personal perspectives really go into our mindset and our growth. So things to keep in mind. Number 1, commit to self-mastery. So someone in the comments mentioned accountability, right? Holding ourselves accountable to master something. Now, let me ask you this. Can you master how to do a listing presentation by attending one training? Are you a master if you attend one training on one topic? There's a whole lot of no's happening in the meeting chat. Okay, so all of you saying no, you are correct. You cannot. It takes 10,000 hours to master something. So in thinking of that, as you look at your year and you're planning it out, right, and you're attending different trainings, not just Ignite, but in your Market Center and anything else you see that is out there for real estate agents, I want you to think about Have I mastered this? Or did I just take this class once? Okay. The 80-20 principle, I'm going to go into that in 2 slides here and talk about that. Moving from entrepreneurial to purposeful. Okay, so in the beginning in real estate, we're like, woo, have a business. This is awesome. I own my business. I'm my own boss. But we need to get purposeful with our business. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. Make being learning based the foundation of your action plan. Guess what? Y'all showed up. Boop, number 4, check mark that. You are learning based right now because you showed up. Remove your limiting beliefs. We're going to do a little activity around that in just a second. And just like someone said in the chat box, be accountable. Accountability is meaning self-accountability. What are you choosing to do? Everything in real estate is a choice. You made a choice, right? Who, raise your hand or throw in the chat box. Who worked or who worked another job today? Who did something else today? Okay, I see hands. Awesome. I see a lot of yeses. So that's not easy to all of a sudden work a job and then be like, all right, let me just jump on the Zoom now from 6 to 8 o'clock at night, right? Scarf down maybe some food ahead of time, or maybe not. You might be sitting there hungry. By the way, you're on mute. You can totally eat on Zoom. I have no problem with that. That's your first step of being self-accountable. So I'm going to dive into these a little bit more here. So self-mastery, know your goals. We're going to do a little goal activity tonight. Know your strengths, know your weaknesses, right? I talked to an agent earlier today, and she said, I haven't really had the success I wanted yet in real estate. And we talked through that. And I said, well, what do you love doing? And she goes, well, I just love connecting with people. I said, okay, how? And she goes, in person. I said, so what have been your activities to connect with people? And everything she shared with me was not in person. She was doing mailings. She was doing phone calls. So she wasn't tapping into her strength, right? Her superpower. So I challenged her. I said, okay, I want you to think about in January, where could you connect with people in person the most? Do you have a dog? Do you want to go to dog parks? Make it a point to take your dog to different dog parks like 3 times a week, right? Do you like running? Do you want to join some running clubs, meet people there, right? By the way, it doesn't have to be real estate. Have some fun with it. Right? So, but tapping into your strengths and then also knowing your weakness, because that's your opportunity for growth, right? So that's where we get uncomfortable. The 80-20 principle. So I said in the beginning here, I said, we're starting out, we have about 80 people on here now, and you will not see the number 80 in 5 weeks when Ignite ends. You're going to see that number dwindle. Now, I don't know what it's going to go to. I have predictions. I love playing with numbers because numbers tell a story. Okay. I don't love numbers because I failed math in school and I really don't like math, but I love numbers because it tells you a story. Okay. So in real estate, here's some nationwide numbers. Number 1, 20% of the agents do 80% of the business. That's a nationwide stat, wherever you live. 20% of the agents do 80% of the business. Typically in trainings, 20% of the attendees complete the actions each week or homework each week, and 80 don't. We don't know who. I have no idea. I can't predict on here who's going to do it, who's not. I do see some recognizable faces from my market center, and I was like, oh, I know who's going to do it. But yeah, 20% do 80% of the business. The other thing is 20% of our actions, 20% of what you do lead to 80% of your results. If you're 20%, so that's your biggest rocks, so you're focused on what's most important. Now, who on here can say what is most important in our real estate business? What's our number 1 top priority in our real estate business? Feel free to raise your hand or come off mute. Closings. Okay, so I love closings. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. Lead gen, database, connecting with people, lead gen. Yes, I hear database and lead gen. Your database, which we call data bank, is your business. If you don't have a system, which if you're with Keller Williams, you have access to Command. If you're with a team or someone else, you're using something else. Listen, I'm a Labs advisor. I'm a Command junkie. I actually get to play with it and test it. And I will say this, I don't care what system someone uses, as long as it has automated emails, automated text, and you're using it. Excel and Post-it notes is not a system. You can't automate that. Okay. So lead generation, which means connecting with people, whether it's voice to voice, text to text, DM to DM on social media, or face to face, belly to belly. That is your business. And then your database is your follow-up strategy to grow that business. That's your 20%. Also part of that 20%. So as real estate agents, we have 5 things that fit in our 20%. Please write these down. Number 1, talk to people, connect with people, lead generation. Number 2, set appointments, quality appointments, meaning a pre-approved, ready to go buyer or listing, seller. Number 3, negotiations. 4, closings. 5, practice. We'll talk about practice in a little bit. That's your 20%. Everything else, the making pretty flyers, making a pretty website, making pretty business cards, et cetera, that fits in your 80%. That will, now, do we do those? Yes. If we spend more of our time on that, you will not have business. Told you I'm going to keep it honest. Is that cool with everybody? I'm just speaking the truth tonight. Sugarcoating things will not help you. Everybody cool? Up them, just shoot from the hip, just honest. Everybody good with that? Thumbs up, yes, okay. Hope so. If not, sorry. We talked about this, right? Moving from entrepreneur to purposeful. So in the beginning, it's just we're on the roller coaster. Real estate is a roller coaster ride. You're gonna have ups and downs, it's gonna happen. But when we become really purposeful with our activities, what we do on a daily basis, the choices we make, the focus we put into the time we're spending, and we follow systems models that have been proven, the more purposeful you're going to be, and you're going to break through that ceiling of achievement in no time. In no time. I worked with an agent who, let's see, she started as a brand new agent October of 2021. I will never forget it. It was a Tuesday. She calls me on Thursday and she goes, I have a buyer who wants to look at houses. She went and showed houses Friday. Now, brand new agent. She hasn't been trained yet. She literally just got set up with everything. We haven't gone through our 12-week training program. She hasn't gone through Ignite. She calls me Friday and she's like, or Thursday, I have a buyer who wants to see houses tomorrow. So I walked her through how to do showings. Friday, goes out, shows houses. Saturday, they're like, they want to put an offer in. We got an offer in. Sunday, she gets under contract. License activated on Tuesday, under contract by Sunday. There was only one thing she did a little bit differently than, not a little, one thing she did a lot differently than the majority of agents who start in the business. Not good or bad, by the way. This is not good or bad. Everybody starts differently and it's how you feel. It's emotion, right? So there's no good or bad here. It just is what it is. Does anybody want to take a guess what she did that very first day, very first 2 days she got licensed?
Probably let people know that she's licensed.
Oh, what was that, Tamika?
Probably let people know that she was now, in the real estate business.
Absolutely. 100%. She let as many people as she possibly could know she was in real estate now. She blasted that out. She sent texts, she made phone calls, she went on social media. She was not a secret agent within seconds. Within seconds. Okay, so she announced on social media, she called everyone on her phone, she texted people, she DM'd people. I think she literally messaged over 100 people in 2 days. Because let's face it, copy, paste, you can send a lot of messages in an hour. All right. She was extremely purposeful right from the bat. Fast forward, she had 5 closings in 5 months. Now she just does way more than that. Okay. We talked about being learning based. I'm not going to harp on this because you all showed up. Limiting beliefs. So let me ask you, again, raise your hand or come off mute or put in the chat. There's a few on the screen here, but what are limiting beliefs you personally have right now getting into real estate? Or if you're already in real estate for a while and looking to refresh your business, revamp or grow, what are some limiting beliefs that are going on right now? Check out the chat box here. There is low inventory. Fact, question mark. Okay, I'm going to talk about that in just a minute. Competition on my market with so many experienced agents. I love that you put that as a limiting belief, by the way, because that is a limiting belief. And there's ways to get our mindset around that. Okay, so
Interest rate, probably.
oh, what was that?
Interest rate.
Interest rates, right? Yeah, interest rates. Who's going to want to buy a house, right? Fear of being unable to offer good service. Don't know much about social media. Too late to get in the game. Fear of being unable to, so okay, people won't use me because I'm new. Okay, so let me go through some of these. All right, I want to spend a little bit of time going through some of these. Give me 1 second here. So what I'm going to do here is, there's an agent who literally just messaged me and she's trying to get into the Zoom link and the Zoom link is not working. So I'm just going to message her that Zoom link right now. I'm telling you all what I'm doing. So here's the thing. Limiting belief is that little voice on our shoulder holding us back, right? It's a mindset that we need to figure out a way to move past. So for example, is there low inventory? Yeah. Yep, there is, right? It's gone up a tad in certain places nationwide over the past few months. But oh yeah, 2023 was hard. That's a fact. Let me ask you this question. And by the way, you can also feel free to use the reaction button with a little thumbs up or heart or whatever. Even with low inventory, are people still looking to buy and sell? Do you know people who had closings? By the way, if you're just brand new in real estate and got licensed like today, yes. The answer is yes. Okay. I know agents who've had 10 closings lined up for this month, 12 closings, 20 closings. So yeah, inventory is low, but there are still buyers and sellers out there. Okay, it's just a matter of getting creative with finding them. Competition in my market with so many experienced agents. So I'm gonna do that one and the next one. People won't use me because I'm new. Number one, if you have been licensed, activated license for over 24 hours, you are no longer allowed to call yourself new. Congratulations, you're not new anymore. You are simply a real estate agent. Get rid of the word new. I only give people 24 hours to call themselves new. Now, if you're licensed, if you're on here and your license has not been activated yet, and there's a few people who are still in classes and also taking this, you get to call yourself new. And here's why I say that. People do business. Actually, I'm going to ask this as a question. How do people choose who they use in business? Buyers and sellers, how do they choose who they decide to use? What do you guys think? Oh, there you go. Trust, 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 trust. I saw that word trust like 4 times, I think. Or that, or just read it a lot. People choose their real estate agent based on like and trust. Do I connect with you? And do I trust you? That's what they choose. So true story, 2018, I was coaching this one agent who just got into real estate, right? She got licensed like a month ago. And she started calling for sell by owners. She really wanted to tackle for sell by owners. So I taught her exactly what to say. That was my bread and butter back in the day, was expireds and for sell by owners. Love them because they already said they want to sell. So half the battle's done. I don't have to find somebody. They already said yes. They just had to say yes to me now. So she wanted to tackle for sell by owners. So we worked on that, et cetera, practiced it. She practiced like crazy. And she landed she is now 3 months into real estate, 3 months licensed. Okay, so I'm going to use the word brand new. She has not had a closing yet. She's 3 months licensed, and she landed a $1.2 million listing appointment with a for sale by owner. So she had a few options. Either she could get in her own way and in her own head, or she could practice, get everything prepared, go to her sources. Now, for us, that's coaching. Go to her sources, get help, really prepare herself to feel as confident as possible, or kind of fake confidence till you grow it, right? And then go into the appointment saying, this is my listing if I choose to accept it. Or she could have said, by the way, this for sale by owner said to her before her first appointment, I am interviewing other agents as well as you to decide who I want to use. She could have gotten in her way and said, oh, well, these other agents are experienced. Why would they choose me? Right. So what she did is she prepped like crazy. She practiced her conversation. She prepared everything she was bringing with her. She did a run through. We did a run through. It was really fun. And she went out to the appointment. Long story short, they chose her. Now, what she found out, though, at that first appointment is they were interviewing. Now, she showed up 15 minutes early. She sat in her car outside of the house, and she said to herself, everything was tuned out, her phone was off, and she said, this is my listing if I choose to accept it. This is my listing if I choose to accept it. They like me, they trust me, they need my help. That was her affirmation. She went in, she landed it. She found out during that appointment, they were interviewing the most experienced top agent in that area, 23 years in the industry, the top producing luxury agent in that area. And they chose her. So move forward, got listed, went active. She's all excited. And she went to the seller and she goes, I have to ask you a question. I love working with you. Why'd you choose me over so-and-so? And what do you all think that person said? What do you think?
She was likable. She was more likable.
That's it. Oh, hi, Maggie. That is correct. I just liked you better. That's all she said. I just liked you better. I felt like we connected more. Okay. So people are going to choose you if you show that you care about them, not the closing, but them. Okay. Here's the thing about real estate. If you focus on the closing and the closing and the money will not happen. If you focus on the person and the people and how to help them, everything else comes together. All the closings in the world and money happens. As you see, I told you I'm going to skip through a few slides. Okay. So, no limits, no boundaries. Right. So I want to take a second here and what did you guys get from that story?
One, she didn't have a limiting belief or she got rid of it. And two, she didn't go in saying that I have to have this. She wasn't nervous about getting it. She was saying, I'll take this if I want it.
I will
And
take
so
this
she
if
was
I
able
want it.
to relax.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing. I talked to her that entire morning. I talked to her on her entire drive to this list appointment. She was flipping out and she was nervous as all get out. Okay. So she had confidence in her ability to care for others. She had confidence in being able to just talk to people. She's like, oh, I like people. I love learning about them. I'm just going to talk to her like she's my friend. And she doesn't even know she's my friend yet. She had confidence in that. She didn't know anything about real estate yet. She never had a closing. She didn't have confidence in her knowledge, but she had confidence in knowing where to find the answers for questions she didn't know. I was on call, by the way. She had confidence in that, right? So if you don't have the confidence yet, you have to figure out what are you confident with. That's going to help you, right? Don't make excuses. I love that. It's what you put into it. Don't count yourself out ever. Oh, these are great, right? Be prepared, but don't forget to connect. We're in the business of connection. That's really what we are, building relationships and connection, right? Now you're going to see me flip through a bunch of things. This is all about Keller Williams. Okay. This is all about Keller Williams. You can find all this stuff online. I'm not going to sit here and tell you all about Keller Williams because we're all part of Keller Williams or talking to someone at Keller Williams. I will say this, if you haven't tapped in to your technology that you have access to, I cannot stress the importance of that enough. Okay. If you're feeling a little overwhelmed with it and you're like, okay, this is a lot. I don't like technology. Technology scares me. Then I challenge you to start with one thing and give yourself 12 months, the full 2024 to learn it. Not 1 month, 12 months. Learn one thing each month. Just focus in the contact section, making your database and your contacts and adding emails and adding phone numbers and adding addresses, making it a really healthy database. Okay. And then in February, you can move on to something else like smart plans or designs, wherever you want to move on to. Okay. This is a journey. It is not instant gratification. You don't have to master it today. It could take you 90 days. It could take you a year. But if you don't start it today, your business cannot grow because you have to use something. Excel spreadsheets and Post-it notes, once again, are not a something. All right. So what I want to move into here is actually I want to talk about you. We're all going to talk about you. Does everybody love the conversation of yourself? Who doesn't love talking about you? So I want to talk about your future, your vision. Okay. So we're going to do a little exercise, and I want you to think about this. Take out a pen and paper, please. So today is, what's today's date? Let's see, it's January 16th. So today is January 16th, 2025. That sounds really odd to say. January 16th, 2025. Your business is thriving. Your life is everything you've dreamed of. Your customers rave about your experience. They are flooding in with referrals because you are just outstanding to work with. Your family, your friends, everybody around you surround yourself with are just so proud of your success and also giving you referrals. You're helping others live their dream of owning a home and helping them in gaining what they desire. You're building a foundation and momentum for your entire career and the income you desire. Okay. You're the top agent in your market center. You just earned the Rookie of the Year award, or if it's not your first year, you have grown your business to now where you are top agent, getting the recognition you earned and deserve. You have grown your business so much that you actually can hire a part-time assistant. Now you have leverage, you have some help. You're on the path to, now what I want you to write right now is, what does that future look like? What do you want? Now, here's when I say future, because everybody thinks a little bit differently, right? Some people are huge visionaries, others are like, I can't even think about tomorrow. So when I say, what does your path look like? What's that future look like? What I'm having you write down there is, in 1 year from now, if you are helping enough people to earn the income that you truly desire, not just getting by, but truly desire, what's that leading to? What's that achieve for you? If in 3 years from now, you've grown it to where it is a thriving business, what's your life look like? What are you doing more of? What are you doing less of? Do you have another job? Did you quit it? Did you purchase something you've always wanted? Something about the community, something about travel. Take a minute and I want you to write down, what does that look like? Vision your future right now. Write that down. If we were in person, I'd whip out some magazines and some poster boards and we literally be like making vision boards. Paint a picture for yourself. Did you all write something down? I would love one person to come off of mute, and feel free if you want to share. I'd love for you to put in the chat box. For anybody on here who wants to share, I'd love to see them. But I'd love for somebody to come off of mute and share yours.
I will.
Hi, is it Flora?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Flora. Where are you located?
I'm in Pottstown, Pennsylvania.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
I didn't write much, but just listening to you talk, having accomplished all that, I would just like to be work full-time as a realtor. I have 3 jobs right now. I'm a hairdresser, a special education paraprofessional, and a mom and grandmom. So having accomplished all that, I would like to just stop all the side jobs and work full-time as a realtor. And I would like to take yearly vacations with my children and my grandchildren. And oh my God, financial freedom, my debts paid I got that debts paid or being paid off, and have helped a multitude of people with home ownership.
I love that. I don't know about anybody else, but I totally got chills with that. So like full on goosebumps. Let me ask you, so you mentioned debts paid off. I heard full-time real estate, not 3 different things.
Right.
And I heard traveling with family. Okay. Where's the first place you're traveling to?
Probably Disney, where I have 2 granddaughters and one on the way. So possibly Disney World.
Okay. Haven't been someone who's been there over 30 times now. Please reach out to me. I'm happy to help you plan that. Yes, I'm like a Disney child at heart. I love that. So how do you feel? You've achieved that. That's happened. You're living it. How do you feel?
I probably will be so happy, just to be honest with you, because life hasn't been easy, but it's been fair. So I'll just be super happy and praising God, probably just happy and super excited.
Flora, thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you. Thank you. Here's what I would here's what I would love for you to do. Now, here's what I want all of you to do, not just Flora, but all of you. What I'd love all of you to do is whatever you wrote down, I want you to spend a little more time thinking about that this week. It's going to change. Every year you revisit this, it kind of changes, you change some things around. Sometimes you're like, okay, I can only think about this 1 year. I can't think out 3 or 5 years from now. I'm not even there yet. And then all of a sudden you're in real estate around really big thinkers, by the way. And in a few years, you're going to be able to think 3, 5, 10 years down the line, right? So I want you to spend more time writing down your vision and then create something around it. Something that is so powerful. Now, it could be a statement, it could be words, it could be a picture of something. Okay. Some people do vision boards, right? It doesn't have to be that elaborate. What this visual is going to do is there will be times in real estate that are going to be hard. Who's been in real estate for over a year? I see some faces on here. I know. Okay. I see you, Leslie. Okay. Real estate is a roller coaster. It's also a roller coaster of emotions. There will be times that you will all think about quitting. Trust me. Been there, done that, probably at least once a year, if not more. Right? It gets hard sometimes. Right? What doesn't in life? There's going to be weeks that you're going to be on. You're like, oh my God, that week was awesome. I talked to enough people. That was great. I set these 2 appointments. I'm so excited. And then all of a sudden, you're going to get to your next week and everybody's going to hang up on you. Nobody's going to want to talk to you. You might, what I call, learn new language from some people. Okay. And a deal is going to fall through. Or you might be like today, where it's all snowy and icy here in Maryland. What this visual is for are the days that you don't want to do the work. Now, don't get me wrong, you do need what I call me days. You need days for yourself, for your family, for vacation, right? But what I'm talking about are certain days you know you are ready to work and you don't. You're like, well, I'll just watch this Netflix, or I'll bake brownies, or yeah, I'm gonna just play on Facebook a little bit instead, or Instagram. You do everything but what you're supposed to do. You need a visual to look at that's going to push you on those days. I cannot stress how important this is. Now, when you create this, if all of a sudden you have these weeks over and over again where the visual's just not working, it's not pushing you, take an hour, sit down and figure out a new visual. Doesn't mean that's not part of your future. It just means it's not pushing you enough. By the way, pain will push you further than pleasure. Okay. So if your visual is something painful as opposed to pleasurable, probably going to push you a little further, faster. All right. How's that activity for people? Good. I love the visioning activity. So let's talk a little bit about some money. I'm going to share my screen here. There's the thing. One of my favorite quotes is, the purpose of business is to fund a perfect life. Let me say it again. The purpose of business is to fund the perfect life. Now, perfect is different for each of us, right? Hence the visioning activity. That's why we do the visioning one first, because that's your life. Now we need to fund it. Okay. We're not in real estate to work for free. So where are your commission dollars? Okay. Now, when you get a commission check, now for those of you who've been in the industry a while, this is going to be a refresher for you. And refreshers are really good. So you all get a closing. So you all have, every one of you just had a closing today. Congratulations. Woo, celebrating, post on social media. Okay. Do you get to keep that commission check you just got? That whole thing? No. Now, if you're with Keller Williams and you did what's called CAP, and if you don't know what that means, please ask someone at your market center. And you've had enough closings to reach that, then the answer is yes to that one. But for the majority of you, that commission check, which is GCI, gross commission income, things come out of it. You might have a referral to another agent, right? If I know someone in New York, I'm not licensed in New York, I'm gonna have to give it to, I saw someone on New York in here, I might have to give it to them. And then they're gonna do the business, I'm gonna collect a 25% referral fee because that's typically what I charge. That's kind of a standard, a unspoken national standard number, by the way. You have your market center. Every market center has different splits. I'm not going to go into that. You can ask your market center, but every market center has a different split, right? We call it cost of sale, cost of doing business. You have business expenses. Is money coming out to go back in your business? Do you have to pay for board dues, other dues, MLS dues? Do you want to put it back in your business for marketing? Right? Taxes. Can't escape it. Please have a separate account. That's my recommendation. I'm not a CPA. I will not talk to you about taxes and educate you, but I will recommend having a totally separate account that your commissions go into that don't commingle with whatever else you going on in your household. And there is a portion of it that goes directly into a separate savings just for taxes. Don't be the agent that gets stuck forgetting about that. Okay, conveniently. And then very surprised knowing money. And then you have your take home, which is called your net. Okay. So as you can see here, it crunch the dollar down a bit. Now, this is just an example on the screen. This does not mean it is you, or it doesn't mean it is where you live, right? This is an example of if you are looking to net, meaning after everything, $100,000, okay, and your company dollar, your market center, all of that is 30,000. And your business expenses of 50,000, which, by the way, if you are newer in the business, your business expenses are not going to be 50,000 in your first year, possibly even your next few years. You want to lead with revenue. Okay. That means that your total gross commission income, meaning those commission checks, the closings, have to total $180,000. Now, let's say you have an average commission in your area of $9,000. 9,000 goes into 180,000 20 times. Okay. So that means it's fewer than 2 closings a month to net 100,000. Now, I will tell you, for those of you in certain parts of Maryland, because I can speak about Maryland, not about other states right now, on average, depending on where you are in the state of Maryland and which market center you're with, on average, it's about it is about 12 to 14 closings to net 100,000 because our business expenses are quite low in the beginning. Unless you work with a lot of investors, and then obviously it's going to be more because your average commission will be less, typically. Okay, what questions do you have on this? Nothing? No questions? Let me check the chat box. Typically get questions. I either explained it really well or I confused everybody. It's one or the other. All right. So now the question is, yeah, that's all great, but how do we do it? Right? Some of you sitting there with that question, like, yay, 20 closings. How? Throughout Ignite, you will learn strategies on how. I'm going to give you the number one thing to start with. Okay. The number one thing that you can start tomorrow. Actually, we're going to start it in about 2 minutes together. In about 2 minutes, we're going to do this together, and then you're going to do it tomorrow with more time. The number one thing to start with are people you know. So I want all of you who has a phone super handy. Who has their phone super handy? Hold it up if you're on the screen. Anybody? Okay. If you have your phone handy, what I want you to do is I want you to go to your contacts in your phone. Now, if you're on an iPhone, you're going to scroll all the way to the bottom. And I want you to put in the chat box what that number is. What is the total number of contacts that you came to? If you have an Android, it is in there somewhere. 180, 675, 1306. Holy smokes. 414, 807, 83. Okay. So I'm going to pick out one of these numbers here. I'm going to pick out the number 312. Okay, I'm going to pick out Zach's. So Zach, I'm going to use yours, 312. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take Zach's 312, and I am, by the way, I'm using a calculator, okay, because I love calculators. Now I'm going to times that by 0.06. Does anybody know on here why I am doing 6% of his 312? Anyone want to take a guess? Or has anybody been to any trainings and found out?
Is that the
Closings.
commission percentage?
Number of people ready to buy or sell. So I see David on here. David, you are correct. Number of people ready to buy or sell. Thank you, David. Here's the thing. This is a national number that has been proven for over 20 years. It actually used to be 10% of who we know. It has gone down to 6% now over the past 4 years of research. But this is a true number of hundreds of thousands of research, of agents researched. Okay, so if you're like, oh, that's not true, it is true. All of you have 6% of whoever's in your phone. By the way, you can also use that same percentage for like social media, who have a real estate need, meaning buying, selling, or investing within the next 12 months, or they know somebody. Okay, so Zach, who had 312 people, has 18.72. Now we can't have 0.72. So I'm just going to say 18. Zach has 18 closings for the year 2024 sitting in his phone right now. Okay. Yolanda, who has 900 people she just put in here, 900 times 0.06 is 54. Yolanda has 54 closings for 2024 sitting in her phone right now. Before I move forward, does anybody have any questions on how that number came about? How I got that? Yeah, I just took that total. I did times 0.06, so 6% of it. I love that. Oh, man. Woo! That's right. Now, here's the thing. Some of you are sitting there going, no, I don't. What are you talking about? That's not true. I'm here to tell you, I was that agent in 2015 who was that person sitting there going, no, I don't. That's not true. Okay. And I'm going to share with you a story. Now, some of you who have been with me for a little bit in coaching, and I see some friendly names on here, I apologize because you've heard this story so many times. So you just get to hear it again. Okay. For those of you who haven't heard this story, it's a true story and it's a sad story. So I get into real estate 2015, and everybody's like, call your sphere of influence. Your sphere of influence, by the way, is your friends, your family, the people you know, people on your phone, people on social media, people who know you and you know them. That person you went to high school with like 20 years ago, who like you comment and not you comment, you wish them happy birthday once a year on Facebook and you click like on things. Okay. Your hairdresser, your accountant, your mechanic, your significant others, people they work with. Okay. That your sphere is huge. It is way bigger than you think it is. So I get in, everybody's like, your greatest source of business are people you know, because they already like and trust you. And even if they're not looking, they know people. Okay. And I said, well, I don't want to bother them. I don't want to be salesy. I don't want to be pushy. Anybody feel that ever? Okay. Okay. I see some hands. Thank you. I'm not alone. I appreciate that. And I said, you know what I'll do? I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna, oh, Brandy literally just heard the story the other day when we coached. Sorry, Brandy, you get to hear me again. So I said, I'm gonna go ahead and just post on social media that I'm in real estate. And I'm gonna send an email. And then when they need me, they'll just know. They will just know, and they're just gonna call me. Anyone want to take a guess what happened? Yeah, oh God, David, I love that. David's like, I don't know if you all saw him on the camera, but he was like this. So this is what happened. What ended up happening was in that first year of real estate, 3 of my extremely close friends, not like, oh my God, I kind of know them. I mean, close friends, all right? One of them I go salsa dancing with on Thursday nights. The other 2 I get together with every quarter. Like these are close friends. They all used other agents to buy and sell houses in a 3-month time span. All of them over $400,000 homes. Within 3 months, number one, I lost over $30,000 in gross commission income. And one of my friends, Chris, and his fiance ended up using an agent who was not trained, horrible communicator, unethical. Okay. And I allowed that to happen. How did I allow that to happen? Anybody want to take a guess? How did I allow that to happen?
They either didn't know you were in real estate or you didn't talk about it enough.
Oh, again, I said I post on social media and I sent an email thinking, oh, that's it. They're good. They'll know. They'll know. They'll just come to me. Okay. I was a secret agent.
Not making phone calls.
I did not make phone calls. I did not stay in contact with them. Thank you, what's up, Savage? I did not stay in contact with them. Right. Now, by the way, I stayed in contact. We talked all the time. I just never brought up real estate because I was scared. I was fearful of bringing it up. I was fearful that, but this is a true story. I was fearful that, oh my God, I don't want to be like that friend. Right. Now, here's the craziest part. You would think that I would learn my lesson after losing out on those, being able to help those 3 great people I know. You would think I would learn my lesson by feeling bad that one of them got stuck with a horrible agent. But I didn't. I still was scared to reach out. I was super uncomfortable. Now, by the way, I've been 15 plus years in sales, but it's all been like cold calling, people I don't know, right? So people I don't know, super easy. So I ended up attending a class. Okay. And so thank you, Lisa. That's me. I don't want to be pushy. So here's the thing. There's a way to be helpful, not pushy. And we're going to talk about that in just a minute. And we're going to do an activity around it. So I attended this class. The instructor had us all making calls to do a referral contest. Who can call enough people to get enough referrals to win? I walked around faking the call. I literally had the phone up like, okay. For those not looking at the screen, sorry, you missed it. So the instructor came over, called me out on it, said, you're faking this, aren't you? I said, yes, I am, because it's hard for me to lie. So he literally took my phone, went to my contacts, scrolled and went, boop, it's ringing. It was a individual that I was, oh my God, I love the reaction button that laughs. So it was an individual, it's a true story. I can't make this up. It was an individual that was my director when I worked at a university years ago. And I haven't talked to this person in 6 years, but we don't delete people out of our phone. And the phone was ringing. So I'm like, don't answer, don't answer, don't answer. He answers. Okay. So let me share with you about that call. Number one, nothing bad happened. I did not burst into flames. He did not curse me out for not calling him because guess what? He didn't call me either. Okay. What ended up happening was, number one, I asked him how his family was, his boys were. I couldn't believe one of his boys was like going off to college. So I'm like, how are they aging? And I'm not. That's crazy. Then I said to him, I was in a class and we're doing a contest and he knows I love to win. He goes, all right, what is it? You love to win. Right. Oh, see, I love that, David. You know where I'm going with this. Then I said the contest is, because I'm in real estate, which he didn't even know. He didn't know I was in real estate. Didn't know. Because I did that social media post months and months and months and months prior. That one post, months prior. Okay. Doesn't exist in life anymore. The post leave after like 5 minutes. So fast forward the phone call, he gave me 12 referrals. 12 referrals, and we rekindled a friendship. We stay in touch and we see each other every quarter now. Okay. So here's the moral of the story. We're about to rip off the Band-Aid right now. For those of you who are like, I don't want to reach out to people on my phone. And hold on. I need to look at this. Wait. Because this is usually where people pop off. There's 83 people on here. Let's see what happens. So I've been teaching Ignite now since 2016. All right. I know my numbers. We are not going to make phone calls. Don't worry, you're not making phone calls right now because I don't want to lose you. I need you back on here in like 5 minutes. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to do a simple text. Now, if you're on social media, you can also choose to do DMs and not text. If you want to go to Instagram or Facebook and do DMs as opposed to texting, cool. Okay. What I'm going to give you is I'm going to give you a little example of a text to send. Okay. There's the thing. I'm going a little off script here. This is not in the PowerPoint. This is not in the material. But what I found when teaching Ignite is if we don't get into action on day one and we don't rip off the Band-Aid, it's going to take even longer to reach your success. Now, what's crazy is there's an agent at our Market Center. I don't even know if she's on here. There's an agent at our Market Center who, for the longest time, wasn't doing this activity. Finally, she's like, all right, I either need to get out of real estate or just suck it up and do it. And I said, all right, let's do it together. And she came in the office and she just started texting people. She did this activity. By the way, we did it for 15 minutes. That's it. Now we're about to do it for 5.
The Kim gave it. Yep. Nice.
So this agent did it for 15 minutes. It ended up resulting in a buyer, okay, that closed 2 months later, and 2 future pieces of business. 15 minutes. 3 pieces of business. 3 people to help. All right. So here's the sample text or DM. Now, I say sample because obviously put it in your own words, but don't overthink it. Do not overthink it. It is, and actually, you know what? I'm going to say it, and then what I'll do is type in the chat box. All right. So I'm gonna like pretend like I'm texting let's see who I have. David. I'm gonna pretend like I'm texting David right now. All right. So I'm gonna say, hey David. Now here's the thing. These are people I know. Now, whether I've talked to him a long time or not, doesn't matter. I know him and he knows me. We're in each other's phones. Hey David, it's been a while. How have you been? Happy New Year. Right. I'm reaching out because I'm sitting here setting some goals for my real estate business, and I really want to help people I know this year or people they know. People love helping people they know. So the keywords there is I'm reaching out, or I am in real estate. I'm setting my goals. Some verbiage of that. Okay. The next sentence is the key. Are there any by the way, the words needs and goals can be interchangeable. If you like the word needs better, use needs. If you like the word goals better, use goals. I like goals. Are there any real estate goals you have this year or anyone you know I can help? That's it. Any real estate goals that you have this year. Notice I didn't say today or now. Who wants business in October? Okay, 5 of you. Awesome. So are there any real estate goals that you have this year or anyone you know that I can help? Now me, I'm like, really appreciate smiley emoji, you know, depending on who it is, heart. Right? I'm an emoji person. So that's it. That's the text or DM. I don't care how you started. I don't care if it's, hey, how have you been? I don't care if it's, hey, oh my God, we need to catch up. What's up? But the meat of it is real estate. Okay. Okay. So what questions do you have before we spend 5 minutes? That's it. We're just texting 5 minutes. We're gonna have a little competition around this. Oh, I love competitions, as I said. So we're gonna have a little competition right now. When I say go, you're going to, and I will type in the chat, you will try to send as many messages as you can, text or DMs as you can in 5 minutes. Now, here's the great thing. Copy, paste, change the name. All right. Or if you're a video person, I did this class once and someone literally did a video and then just mass blasted it out to everybody in their phone. I was like, wow, never saw that, loved it. Okay. I don't care how you do it. Just don't make phone calls. And if they text you back or they call you back, please do not answer. You're in a class. You can text and be like, hey, I'm in a class. Let me call you afterwards at 8. Don't be leaving this class and missing the next nugget. Okay. You can call them back. There's no fires. All right. So again, it was, hey, David, have you been? Happy New Year. I'm a Happy New Year person all January. Happy New Year. Or just simply, hey, David, what's up? How you been? Listen, I'm reaching out to people I know because I'm setting my real estate goals. And I just want to see if there's any real estate needs you have, real estate goals you have in 2024 that I can help with, or anyone you know. I typically say this year as opposed to the year, because then I can copy and paste it in my future years. Okay, so hey, name. I'm typing this up right now. All right, so some variation of what I just put in the chat. Again, don't overthink it. All right, any questions before I hit the go button? No questions? All right. And when we come back, I'm going to ask all of you to put in the chat box how many you sent to, not how many responded, because you might get responses tomorrow or the next day. It's fine. How many you sent out. All right. Even if it's one, that's still more than 0. So go ahead, and timer has started. Go ahead and start sending the texts. If you have any questions, I am here to help you. And just so y'all know, we went from 89 people to 83. It's not as bad as I thought. One time I lost a good 20 people on this one. Less than 2 minutes left. Don't overthink it. Nothing bad will happen. And if you're sitting there and you haven't even sent one message yet, rip off the Band-Aid and send one. It could be to your best friend. Be like, I'm in a class. This crazy lady said, tell me I have to send a text. Just blame me. Minute 20 seconds left. I once had someone who in 15 minutes, no, in 20 minutes, they sent 50 messages on DMs. They landed 3 listings and 2 buyers within 2 days. Good answer. All right, keep it going, keep it going. 30 seconds. Oh, it's getting down the wire. I love it. All right. We got 20 seconds left. I know every single one of you can send at least one more right now. At least one more. 5 seconds. All right. The timer has gone off. So let's go ahead, come on back. And again, do not answer if they call you. Just quickly be like, I'm in a class, call you later. All right. All right. Throw it in the chat box. How many did you send? Just start throwing in the chat box. See 5, 4, 6, 12, 3, 6, 1, 19, 10, 20. Do I hear more than 20? Oh, this is awesome. This is awesome. Look at all these numbers. 12, 12, 16, 4, 1, 5. Okay. Did anything bad happen? Did anybody light on fire? No, nobody burst in flames. Okay. Did anybody get cursed out on text? Anybody get cursed out? No? Okay. Nothing bad happened. And all of you just did 5 minutes of lead generation. 5 minutes of lead generation. Okay. Is that something that you can do daily for a minimum actually, I'm not going to say time. I'm going to say number. Because I don't like putting time on it. I don't like when people, so me personally, okay, it's just me personally. You're going to find every single person you talk to and learn from, they do something a little bit differently. Your job is to adopt one thing, learn it, do it, and figure out if it works for you. And then if it doesn't, drop that, pick something else up and figure out if that works for you. Now, what you don't want to do is every day change it or every week change it. Like, oh, you know what? I tried calling my sphere today. Nobody answered and nobody had any buyers or sellers. So I don't know what that crazy teacher Alana was talking about. This doesn't work. Yeah, because you did it once. Nothing works once, not in real estate. There's no such thing as instant gratification in real estate. You'll see the results down the road. Agent on here has heard me say this so many times. She's probably going to smile and smirk as I say this. As agents, we stay the course. I see her smirking right now. I say the same things. I have a broken record because it makes it permanent. All right. All right. So we're going to dive into a new, hold on here. Give me 1 second. I am jumping over to, there we go. Sharing the screen. There we go. Now I saw someone already put this in the chat box, but now I want to go through it in a little more detail with you. Don't fear your stare. A lot of times we don't know what to say or how to say it, right? So two things. Number one is if it's people you already know and people you've talked to and connect with and, frequently or frequently enough, then just simply call them, let them know you're in real estate, text them, let them know you're in real estate, and ask them if they have any needs you can help with or know somebody. If you never ask, the answer will always be no. Okay. If you have people on your phone, like we all do, or people in our sphere, friends and family, etc., who we haven't talked to in a long time, right? They're in there, they're like that individual I called who I didn't talk to for 6 years. Then your first connection with them, like true connection with them, can be what we call a care call. A care call is where you're not calling about real estate. It will most likely come up in the conversation. I'll share with you an example of that. What you're doing there is you're going to follow a method called FORD. It is where we talk about either family, occupation, recreation, or dreams. Now, here's what you don't want to do. You're not going to call them and be like, oh my God, yeah, so Maggie, how's the family? Family's good? How's work? Work is going well? Awesome, awesome. What kind of recreations you doing this summer? Have any plans? Have any vacations? What are your dreams? That's just odd. Don't do that. What you're going to do is pick out something that makes the most sense, right? When I talked to that individual, his name was Barry, by the way. When I talked to Barry, my previous director, that we haven't talked to in 6 years, I was genuinely curious what is going on with his boys. He's 4 boys. What's happening with them? How are they? Right? How is he? So I focused more on family. Now, the conversation did morph into what have you been up to these days? Hence occupation. Like, what have you been doing? I don't even know where you work these days. Now, the question that came back was, well, wait, now, not with him, but in general, when you talk to someone, you say, well, what have you been up to? How have you been? What do they typically then ask you? Usually it's, how have you been? What have you been up to? And that is your foot through the door to mention real estate. Now, you do not have to ask them for anything. You don't have to go into, you're just having a first initial conversation. If they ask you what you've been doing, lead with your real estate foot, not your other job foot, not your part-time foot, your real estate foot. Okay. Just plant that seed and then talk about all the other stuff you want to talk about. Okay. So your first conversation, now, if they don't ask you, they don't bring that up, and you're simply focused on them and getting, rekindling a friendship, building a stronger relationship, then just focus on that. Just have a conversation around them. You can bring up real estate later on through text or DMs or a phone call in a week or 2 weeks or even a month. Okay. We need to get back in relationship with individuals to grow our business. Real estate is a relationship business. Now, there's still going to be some of you on here. I guarantee you, out of 81 now, 81 of you, there are probably a good 50% of you, I'm going that high, 50% of you who are still not going to rip off the Band-Aid and reach out to your connections. You will down the road when you start seeing on social media, they start buying and selling houses without you, but you're going to not reach out to them. And if that is what you choose to do, it's your business and you have every right to do that. But you need to replace it with something. Who else are you going to call? Right? Again, for me, in my first year, I didn't call my people. As I said, sad story. So expireds and for sale by owners was my bread and butter. Let me just cold call strangers. Okay. So again, FORD, family, occupation, recreation, dreams. Here's what I recommend all of you doing. I recommend you this week. Don't worry, we're not done yet, so don't be tuning out just yet. This week, what I recommend you doing is having a conversation with somebody, right? Your teenage child, your significant other, your best friend, a cousin. Call somebody, do a phone call. Yes, not a text. I said a phone call. All right. People want to hear voices these days. People are longing for voices these days. Call somebody, and I want you to practice the Ford method. Right now, this might sound weird because you're like, okay, I already talked to people. But I want you to really focus on when you call that next person you call, like when you call one of your friends, what are you asking them? What are they responding with? Are you listening to respond? Right? Are they telling you about a vacation they want to take with their kids to Disney World? And you just go off and start talking about how you want to order pizza? Or are you like, wow, oh my God, when do you want to go to Disney? Like, have you ever been to Disney? Like, are you a ride person? Like, do you like roller coasters? Like, what kind of, like, are we doing like I'm getting all into it. You need to become curious. Now, if you are not a naturally curious person, this is going to take some practice. Okay. So Nadine, so I do want to answer this question. As a dual career agent, would text messages be more effective than calls, as we sometimes may not have sufficient time to make calls? Nadine, that's an excellent question. So if you don't have sufficient time to make calls during your, I'll call it typical 9 to 5. Now I call it 9 to 5, but I know people work all hours. But you do have time to text? Absolutely. If you have that lunch break at work, take 15 minutes of the lunch break and text people. If you only have a 30-minute lunch break at work, take 5 minutes like we just did, put a timer on. How many can you do in 5 minutes? I recommend typing out a text and saving it in your note section of your phone. Save it somewhere in your phone. So then you have something that you can literally copy, paste. Don't forget to change the name. Okay. It'd be weird if I just text all of you and called all of you David. All right. By the way, I did that before. That's why I'm saying that. I've made every mistake you can possibly make. I think I've made it. All right. You have to fail forward to succeed, and you have to be okay with failing. You have to. That's the only way we learn. Right. So again, forward is where you talk to people about their family or their occupation or recreation or dreams, right? I know a friend of mine is planning a vacation, and I know she really wants to go out to Europe. My next phone call with her is actually going to be, hey, it's 2024. I know you're looking to get to Europe with a family. Have you decided on where you're going? Now that's kind of a combination of recreation and dreams, right? If real estate pops up in that conversation, great. If it doesn't, that's fine. We got our stronger relationship. And it also makes it easier for me to ask real estate later. As opposed to someone I haven't talked to in 12 years and be like, hey, it's Alana. Remember me? Do you want to buy or sell a house? Don't do that. That's not natural. Okay. All right. Final piece to this puzzle for just tonight, not the whole puzzle. Okay, I'm going to share my screen here. We're going to switch gears. We're going to talk a little bit about the market. Okay. So one way to really build confidence in your real estate business is to know your market. Now, when I say your market, it's wherever you want to focus. Okay, so for example, I'm an agent in Maryland. That does not mean I drive to all of Maryland to do business. I'm not going to drive to Ocean City, Maryland, because that's way too far away, unless it's $1 million something property to sell, not to buy. Know your market, where you work, understand it. Now, some great ways to know your market. What type of market is it? Right? Is it more of a seller's market? Is it more of a buyer's? Is it a balanced market? One of the best ways to do this is actually to go into your multiple listing service system, your MLS, and do some searches in either that zip code. I like by zip codes personally, or you can do bigger, like here in Maryland, we have counties. Okay, don't do the whole state, just do your area. So I usually do zip codes. And in zip codes, I can look up how many things have sold in the past 5 months. Right? I'll look through how many days on market. Sometimes you can actually go to, like in Maryland, we have the Maryland Association of Realtors website, MAR. I know in Pennsylvania, you have the Pennsylvania Association of Realtors website, PAR. Sorry, I don't know whether any other states. Their websites will actually also give you some stats. Understand the inventory, right? What's on the market? What's active? What's coming soon in different zip codes? And the zip codes you want to focus in. What's the average price point of home? What are they selling for? How many days on market? Do you have relationships with your lenders? Now, I recommend everybody having 2, if not 3 lenders that you have really strong relationships with, which, by the way, you will change lenders frequently, most likely. Our due diligence is to our buyers and sellers, our clients. Okay. I am a not so easy person when it comes to my expectations of the lenders. Right. You also want a few lenders because not everybody meshes personalities. My one lender might get along really well with Maggie, while my other lender, she might be like, oh my God, I don't like him at all. Right. I don't want to lose Maggie as a client just because she doesn't like my one lender. So I'm like, hey, I work with a few. Yeah, no problem. Use this guy. You'll love him. Right. But you also want to know your lenders because you want to have a conversation with them every month. You want them to send you updates or have a 15-minute conversation every month about what's happening with the interest rates. What do you offer? What are programs out there? So if you have not connected with a lender and had those conversations, please do so this month. If not this week, call a lender. Trust me, they want to hear from you because we're their clients as well. And set up a time, have a coffee date. Understanding economic factors, right? Now, this dives much deeper into research. Some agents love doing this, some do not, right? But I also think it's really important just knowing our area, right? Are businesses growing, not growing? Are people moving into the area, out of the area, right? What's the unemployment rate? You can literally Google that for your area. And then knowing neighborhoods. Right. Now, I was sharing this earlier with some amazing agents, and we were talking about being knowledgeable in neighborhoods. Right. And in the beginning, as an agent, we might not have all the confidence and knowledge. And the knowledge is going to take time. And by the way, for those perfectionists out there, I'm going to burst your bubble a little bit. You will never know everything. I see agents on the Zoom right now who've been in the industry 10, 15, 20 years who are on here refreshing their skill set, which, by the way, I totally commend. Love having you on here. Thank you. Because there's always something to either relearn or something new that's happening in today's market that we need to learn for the first time. Okay. An agent called me Saturday and asked me a question, and I was like, let me call you back. Because there's certain things that sometimes we just don't know. We just need to get an answer. But for neighborhoods, we can learn that in minutes. What is the fastest way to learn a neighborhood? What do you guys think? Live question. What's the fastest way to learn a neighborhood? Become an expert in a neighborhood. What was that, Ebony? Oh, I know she came off mute. Oh, here she is again.
Internet.
The internet. Yep, Google. Look it up. You can even do a Google Map tour. Look around neighborhood. Get in your car, drive, go see it. Okay. You can learn a neighborhood super fast. Become the real estate expert of choice. Build your expertise. Now, again, that doesn't mean you need to know everything right away. You do not need to be an expert. You just need to know how to find the answers. And you need to get back to them in a timely manner, right? There's nothing wrong, and it's actually quite respectable to simply say to somebody, yeah, you know what, David, I love that question. Thank you for asking that. Great question. I'm going to write that down. I just want to look something up to get you the accurate, like just the most up-to-date information. Can I get back to you by the end of today? Or if I'm talking to him right now, do you mind if I get back to you first thing in the morning? He's going to say yes. He's not going to say no. He'll say yes. I'll go ask somebody. I'll find the information. I'll call him back first thing in the morning, not 2 days later. Okay. Our reputation is everything. Okay. And then he'll love me. He'll be excited. He just got the information. Different ways to build your expertise. We just talked about learning the market. Okay. Learn your client. Whoops. Wow, that just moved right along. Right. So language of real estate. Understand the numbers of real estate. Now, if you're not sure how to do that, number one, you absolutely have leadership at your market center who can walk you through the market center's numbers or your local numbers to use before you even have your own numbers. Over time, you're going to have your own numbers. We have a top producer on here. I think he's still on here, who he knows his numbers, right? So his language of real estate, while yes, he has the markets, he has his own now as well. But in the beginning, you don't have your own yet. So you can use your market centers. You can use the Keller Williams as well. Okay. Learn your clientele. Who are your buyers? Who are your sellers? Where are they coming from? What are their, how did you find them? Right? Not only how did they find them, meaning what source did they come from? Are they from an open house? Are they from friends and family, referrals? Are they, people you just randomly met, like a Panera Bread? Right? Actually, I know an agent who picked up tons of buyers and sellers just from talking to people at Panera Bread. She would take her laptop there and just work there every day. And she got, her clientele was Panera Bread lovers. That was her clientele. Like she literally tagged them in her source saying Panera Bread. But also knowing them, meaning who are they? Are they teachers? Are they engineers? Are they lawyers? Are they doctors? Right? Are they investors? Are they wanting to be investors? Who are they as people? How can we help them? And then how can we also tap into more of that? Okay. Listen to individuals. Listen to individuals. That's an interesting one. So for your friends and family, if you were to ask them, where do they get their information from? When they, like, if you know someone who, let's say, bought a house in the past year or two, a great survey question you can reach out and ask them is, hey, just curious, when you went through buying your house, where'd you get your information from? If you know someone who sold a house, hey, just curious. You notice how I always start with everything, just curious. Great phrase to start with, just curious. When you were thinking about selling your house, right, where did you get your information from? See what they say. By the way, that is an amazing, easy way to call people in your sphere, is actually to call people you know and be like, hey, listen, I don't know if you know this or not. I am in real estate now. Or if you've been in real estate a while, you can be like, hey, I've been in real estate a while. The market has changed over the past few years. By the way, they'll all be like, oh yeah, I've noticed. Even if they haven't, they're just going to say it. And then you can say to them, I'm doing this survey of people I know. This is a great approach for your sphere, by the way. Absolutely fantastic approach and easy touch point. I'm doing this survey because I'm just looking to gauge how best to help people. Can you share with me when you went and bought and sold, or if you were to in the future, where would you typically go to get your information? Like, where's your first source? See what they say. Right? Number one, you just reminded them you're in real estate, so you planted a seed. Number two, you're caring about them by asking them questions. And number three, you're going to gather information to help you understand how best to help people. It will also be kind of interesting what they say. I do want to answer this question that went in chat. Someone asked how you get paid when they sell a house. If the brokerage realtor is getting paid, I think they were wondering how it was split between the owner and the parties involved. Okay, that's kind of a loaded question, simply because we have multiple states on here, so I don't want to get into different legalities. However, if you're going, number one, never answer that over the phone. I'm going to answer questions at the appointment. We will be face to face for me to answer questions. Okay. If you answer them over the phone, why do they want to meet with you? There's no reason. They'll choose another agent. So what I'm going to do is I will get in front of them during the meeting. Probably at some point, they'll re-ask me that question. And I'll say, oh, great question. So here's the exclusive right to sell agreement. And my commission is this, and this is how I get paid. Now, if they start asking about the buyer side, that's a whole nother conversation I'm not going to go into right now because of each state having its own buyer agency agreement and how to format that. Just know that there are specifics around that for verbiage. So please see somebody at your market center for that. Because that could be a whole hour-long class in itself. Oops. So I want to point something out here. It says, know your numbers. Now, here's what I want to kind of talk about there. And we're going to kind of end this in just a few minutes and talk about knowing your numbers. And I'm going to share with you the activities that need to be done for you to be successful throughout Ignite. So you're going to get a list of activities here in just a second. So don't give me like 8 minutes. Okay. Got 8 minutes. Knowing your numbers means if I were to ask any one of you, okay. So for those of you who I can see cameras on right now, raise your hand if you know how many people you spoke to this week, meaning face-to-face, voice-to-voice, text-to-text, DM to DM, you spoke to this week about real estate. Doesn't mean they had a need. You could have, I don't know, you could have called your mom and be like, hey, mom, I'm in real estate. Bam, you spoke to someone. Okay, raise your hand if you know how many people you have talked to. Wow, that is way more than I expected. I love that. That just shocked me. I don't get easily shocked. I love that. Oh, thank you. I was not expecting that many hands. So thank you. Knowing your numbers means you know your business. In real estate, you're a business owner. Guess what? You're the CEO of your company. Your brokerage, and if you're on a team, the team you're on, we're a support umbrella. Right? Knowing your numbers is how you also succeed. Even if your number for that week is 0, 0 is still a number. So keeping track of how many people are we connecting with, right? If you say I connected with, if let's say Leslie comes back to me tomorrow or at the end of this week, I'm like, Leslie, how'd your week go? She goes, oh God, I didn't set any appointments this week. I'm down in my appointment count. I really need something to happen. And then I say to her, how many people you talked to this week? And she goes, well, I mean, I talked to 8. I'm going to look at Leslie and say, okay, well, let's sit down and talk and figure out how you get that number 8 up, because 8 will not produce an appointment. The magic number, that is the minimum. This is the minimum magic number. Okay. I cannot stress minimum in the biggest bold I can. 10 people a day, 50 in a week. Now, you might go to a huge networking event on Saturday and talk to all 15 a day. I had somebody had a huge family reunion type event they went to, where there was like this huge party and tons of family there. And it was a huge event. It was like a almost like a wedding, but not a wedding. And, oh, they talk to way more than 50 people in a day. Okay. 50 people between Monday and Sunday is the minimum. That's 10 a day, 5 days a week. If you are not connecting, now that does not mean that all of them have a real estate need. That doesn't mean that they're all going to be like, here's all these referrals. It also doesn't mean that they're all going to be really friendly, especially if you're making some calls to strangers. Okay, if I call Hannah and Hannah answers and I introduce myself and I don't know her and she goes, no, click. I heard her voice and I heard her say no, meaning that's a connection. In real estate, while it's a relationships game, it's also a numbers game. There's a direct correlation between numbers and results. Okay. So at the end of the week, if you're like, oh God, I didn't get my appointments. By the way, we are appointment setters, all right? I'm just going to say it like that. We need appointments to be able to get signed agreements to have closings. Every week we should know I need X number of appointments to get my goal. So if it is, by the way, if you want a magical $100,000, it's typically 2 appointments a week. I'm saying typically because I don't know your price points and where all of you live. I'm just kind of using a national average. Okay. So that's 10 a day, 50 a week. That is the number one number you need to go after. That and how many appointments you need in the week. Those are the 2 things that every week you should be tracking. Any questions on that? If people are like, how do I track it? To be honest with you, in the beginning, I kept it super easy because if it's hard, I'm not going to do it. I'm kind of lazy, to be honest. And I had a notebook with me and I would write the week, right? So 15th to whatever the Sunday's date is. And then I'd literally do tick marks. Every time I connected with people, I would do tick marks. At the end of the day, I'd be like, how many people did I talk to today? And I just add up my tick marks. I just do little boop, tick marks, right? If I set an appointment, I actually had lines on my page. So if I needed 2 appointments in that week, I had 2 lines on my page and I knew I needed names in those 2 lines. I did not overthink it. Then when I had a space that I was able to put like a whiteboard, I would do the tick marks right on the whiteboard and I'd have 2 blank lines. And I knew each day I need to fill in those 2, or each week I need to fill those 2 lines in with names. Are appointments transactional or meetings for a conversation like coffee? Great question, Suzanne. So appointments mean it's with a motivated, ready, pre-approved buyer or a motivated seller, most likely at their property, depending on where they live and if they live in the property. So it's with someone who's motivated, ready to go. Because the goal of appointment is to get a signature. Signature being, am I representing you as a buyer, as a seller? By the way, an investor, for those of you who are like, oh my God, investors scare me. Investors are just buyers and sellers. That's all they are, right? Investors are, I'm going to buy a property. They're just a little needier. Nothing wrong with that. Investors are, I'm going to buy a property to either hold it and rent it, or I'm going to buy a property or flip it. And then they're a buyer and then a seller. Again, we tend to overthink those. Okay, so this is the breakdown. I'm gonna pull up the screen here. This is the breakdown of our week of success. Okay. By the way, conversations, contacts, I consider them same thing. So 10 conversations daily, 5 days a week. Okay, so this number should be, so it's 50. Oops. Ooh. Adding people to your database daily. Now this is 10 contacts added daily. Now in the beginning, if you don't have everybody from your phone in there, that's super easy. Click import, get everybody in there. Now you've added way more than 10 a day. Handwritten notes. Some of you are going to do this and it's very powerful, right? It's just like when you get those magical days where all of a sudden you get like a holiday card in the mail or a birthday card in the mail. And we get so excited because it's not a bill. It's not junk, right? And it like lifts our spirits and we smile. Imagine if you did handwritten cards to people you know, right? Imagine if you just did one a day to people you know. Now, this could be birthday cards. It could be a thank you card for thanking them for referring somebody. It could just be a I'm thinking about you card. Okay. Social media engagement. So 10 is commenting on people's posts. So I'm going to do 10 comments a day. 5, oh my goodness, why didn't I? Look at me now. See, we do it so long, we forget what it is, and then hold on. Give me 1 second. So it is 10 comments. Actually, it's 10 likes, 5 comments, 1 DM. 10 likes, 5 comments, 1 personal DM. I personally think we can do more than 1 personal DM a day, but we'll go with that. Okay. And enrichment is training. Enrichment is just is what are you doing to pour into your knowledge and your growth and your confidence? Now, I will say this, the most important 2 things are the very top 2. Who are you talking to? How many people? And are you putting them in your database? So throughout Ignite, I want you to keep track of who you're talking to, how many people you're connecting with a week. Won't all be positive, but how many people are you connecting with a week? And how many do you have in your database today? How many are you adding per week? So the end of Ignite, you can see how many have you added. So at the end of Ignite, you should be able to say, I have talked to this many people throughout Ignite, and I have added this many people into my database. Okay. I know we're 1 minute over, but I love to end this with at least 2 ahas. Ahas are things that you learned, things that stood out to you or relearned. What are 2 that come to mind? Come off you mute or throw them in the chat box.
Hi, as much as I did not want to do that texting assignment, I actually got a lead out of it.
Look at that. Oh my God. Wait a minute. It works. Nice.
So thank you.
Now, do you think that on days where maybe you don't lead gen, don't do enough, you might be able to do that for 15 minutes?
Well, I'll be more inclined to do it. It definitely is making me think about it more. Yes.
Okay. I love it. Look at that. And by the way, if those of you who are like, oh my God, but what if they say yes? Don't worry. You have support where you are, right? You can reach out to people and get to help you through it. Don't be fearful of the yes. Okay. While I'm opening up the chat box to look at the other ones, if all of you would not mind to keep my Keller Williams National Certification of Training, and also to improve my skill set, because I'm always looking to improve. I'd love it if you could take literally a minute and a half, 1.5 minutes, and go to kwueval.com. I just put in the chat box. That is kwueval.com. When you go there, the first screen is going to look like this. Okay. Now, I am in the Maryland, DC region, so you're going to select the instructors region. This is virtual. We're online. The class is Ignite One Spark Your Career. So again, kwueval.com. Once you do that, you can click Next. Now for me, I am in the instructor dropdown. So my first, it's I, by the way, ILANA. So if you look in the dropdown, I'm right after H. And then right after that, you're going to see, I think, 3 questions, maybe 4 questions. I love 4s and 5s, but I accept all feedback because I do. By the way, your names are not on this. When you submit it, I don't see any names, right? But if you can fill this out, that'll be greatly, greatly appreciated. It took me 4 years to achieve this certification, and to keep it, I need so many surveys a year. So thank you, you're helping me. Oh, Leslie, I love the 80 rule, the 80-20 rule. Yeah, 20% of your efforts produce 80% of your results. Love the script, love it.
I'm so sorry to interrupt, but I was trying to do it as you said it. So could you say it again, and I'm gonna do it as you say it, please?
Oh yeah, the kwueval.com.
Give me 1 second. I'm actually gonna tap it now. Okay, I'm there, and the region is Pennsylvania Greater.
You're actually going to put Maryland, DC, because that's where I am.
Okay, and this is virtual online.
It's virtual. The course is Ignite One, Spark Your Career.
Okay.
Then you'll click Next.
Okay, I'm here.
In the instructor name and the drop down, my name starts with I. It's ILANA. I am the only Ilana in the list.
I got it. That's where I got stuck.
Yep. I used to be the only Ilana in the entire Keller Williams worldwide, and now there's 4 more, which is kind of exciting. All right. I really, really appreciate all of you for tuning in tonight. Please don't forget, this is Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Not Mondays, not Fridays, not the weekends. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So tomorrow night, you got a great instructor. Thursday night, you have another great instructor, different voices each night. Don't miss them, please. Graduate Ignite. Be that 20% that continues on. Awesome. Thank you so much, everybody. Have an amazing night.